Hey, welcome back. It's Nick.
I'm Dylan.
And we are here at Cademon Brewing, Mr. Andrew Nordman.
Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for being on the program today.
Thank you very much, man.
You're the very first episode of Behind the Brew. And
I'm very privileged to be the first, and I'm excited to talk about beer.
All right.
Half the reason why I opened up a brewery was so that I could have a venue to talk about beer, so it's perfect.
Very nice. All right, so I guess to start it off, if you just want to introduce these three right here.
What are we,
Certainly. We're
rocking?
going to go light to dark here. We've got Tropical Kingpin, Pineapple Hefeweizen. We've got Eve's Tuition, Peanut Butter Porter, and Vanilla Demonic, which is a chocolate coffee stout with vanilla bean.
Oh,
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Thanks for having us, man.
Ooh.
That is delicious.
Oh, man. All right, well.
Yeah, you'll notice from the various styles, this is kind of a good composition of what I do in beer, which is weird stuff.
Okay.
Like, I'll brew traditional beers, but I'm more interested in finding atypical approaches to common beer styles. And we can talk a little bit about each of them and why that's the case, but you won't necessarily find a super traditional, straightforward beer from Canada.
I guess, how did you get into brewing, and then what led to the establishment of where we are sitting right now?
So it's kind of an interesting backstory. I started as a home brewer, like a lot of people did, but the reason for home brewing is very different than most people. I originally did not like beer at all. To me, it was the yellow fizzy stuff that tastes terrible. And a friend of mine came with me and said, "You need to get into home brewing." I said, "All right, well, why? I don't drink beer, so there's really no reason for that." And he said, "Well, eventually you'll figure out that beer tastes good. But it's about the art, it's about the science, it's about being able to come up with a crazy idea about what a beer should taste like, and then the science to be able to create what you were thinking of, and then the engineering and automation to be able to consistently make that product over and over again."
Okay.
I'm like, that sounds really cool. I still think beer tastes like yellow fizzy stuff, but I'll get into it. And so, got into brewing. I tried my first 2 batches from kits and had no idea what I was doing whatsoever. So the first time, fermented way too hot. I put it in a closet in the middle of summer, and because they said put it in a dark, warm place.
Yeah.
That's dark, it's warm. Fermented way too hot, tasted terrible. So the second time, worried about it being too hot, I of course fermented it super cold in a little chilled area at like 40 for an ale. And so that turned out terribly as well. So threw that out and said, all right, I'll do it one more time. And this sucks, I'm done. And we'll just write this off as a failed experiment. And that beer was tasty Irish red ale, super delicious, and made me realize that beer can taste like something other than the fizzy yellow stuff. And I immediately started looking into researching beer styles and what's out there besides American domestic law beers.
Yeah.
And ended up just loving the diversity and the opportunity of beer that's out there. And so I just started going down that road and incrementally getting taken over more and more, and finally had enough people saying, "Well, why are you selling this?" I said, "Well, that's an excellent question. Why am I not?" And so 3 years of process and getting funding and the building and the regulations, and I finally was able to open in December of 2014.
I was going to ask, is there any significance to the name Cademon?
Yes, so I opened this place with a friend of mine from college. My nickname from college is Cad, and his is Demon. So Cad plus Demon equals Cadman.
Okay.
How do you come to those names? What's the behind the moniker Cad?
Well, with Cad is short for Cadwallian, which was my online handle since I could talk.
Okay.
And then Demon, if you ever meet Demon, you'll understand why his name is what it is.
Okay.
He's a very interesting fellow.
All right.
Ominous.
Well, speaking of the online handle.
Yeah, I've worked in the gaming industry off and on for various stuff.
What specifically, like?
I have worked. Well, I originally got into gaming through Unreal Tournament 2003 and working on mods for Unreal 3, and then ended up working for Major League Gaming and Aurora Games, which was a company that focuses on game services for AAA titles.
Okay.
So I worked on a variety of AAA titles, working on things like matchmaking, tournament leaderboard services, things like that.
Okay.
And then I'd have to say EVE Online.
Oh, okay. I've heard a lot of great. Never played it. Heard a lot of great things about it.
Fantastic. Really, I only stopped because I ended up getting married and having kids and just didn't have enough time to do all the things.
Too busy. I feel you. No, as far as you said you wanted to take us through each one of these.
Absolutely.
If you want to take us through the Hefeweizen real
Sure.
quick.
So, Tropical Kingpin is pineapple Hefeweizen. It's actually the cousin to Bloodshot Hefe, which is the beer that basically kept the lights on last year.
Okay.
Which is funny because me, historically, I don't enjoy wheat beers. It's just not my thing. So, I like to make sure that any beer that I come out with, I'm willing to drink. I mean, it may not be my favorite beer, but it's something that you throw a pint of anything that's on tap and I will be happy to drink.
Yeah.
So I had to come up with an approach to a Hefeweizen that didn't taste like banana bread, that had kind of my spin and I'd be happy, because I'm just not a huge fan of banana flavoring beers.
Yeah.
So I took a German style Hefe, added a little red X to make it a little bit darker than that yellowish hue, and then did a navel orange zest and blood orange juice. Added that into it to give it kind of a citrusy flavor. A little bit more spin on your typical clove and banana flavor coming off of a Hefeweizen. And that took off. It was fantastic. People loved that beer. We did a lot of distribution of that every year. And this year, as part of my Mad Scientist program, where I'm releasing one new beer every week for 2016, 52 beers in 52 weeks.
Wow.
Number 7,
That's
which was
awesome.
in February, I did a pineapple version where I took Bloodshot, I threw in some pineapple puree, let it age on that, and then right as I was about to keg it, I added pineapple juice to it, so that it would be not like shandy level juice or radler level juiciness, but still that fresh pineapple flavor and aroma.
Nice.
And we went through it so ridiculously fast. I'm like, I don't care that it's February, I'm gonna brew this again. And did a 90-gallon batch. We ran through that in 2 weeks in the tap room, and I said, oh, apparently people are really enjoying this beer. So we just started distributing it about a month ago.
How far do you distribute it?
So right now, it's primarily in the Western Burbs. I'm expanding that towards Chicago and up into Rockford starting the next month or so. Making a big push to expand the brand. We're in a unique position because we're in the middle of nowhere. To the point where my fellow Chicago brewers like to joke that I'm East Iowa.
Okay.
I come back that they need to look at a map because I'm closer to southern Wisconsin than eastern Iowa. But kind of the presence of growing the brand so that people know that there's a brewery in the middle of nowhere that's willing to make some interesting beers has been the big challenge. So doing a lot of focused effort on getting it beyond the area. Because around here, people know Cademon. People are happy with it.
Is Cademon, is this your full-time life or?
Yep.
Oh, sweet. And you said you've been open since December 14. How did the community respond to having their first brewery here? Like,
I think I've got kind of a benefit for being in this town because we do have that culture with the winery that was here before they moved across the street.
Oh, okay.
So we have this tiny little town of about 5,500 people. We have a brewery and a winery across the street from each other. So we've got a nice little culture going. But we had a lot of great response. What I've loved is that people are open-minded. They're willing to try things. And some of the beer styles that I'd expect aren't necessarily the ones that sell the fastest.
Okay.
Lagers do well, but my chocolate coffee stout with vanilla has consistently been the number 2 beer seller since I released it the week after I opened.
Nice.
So to be able to say, all right, well, we've got a nice stout as the number 2 seller in the middle of nowhere, regardless of season, is pretty exciting, especially for someone like myself. I love malty beers. I love nice, doesn't necessarily have to be full body, but complex beers. So, for example, Eve's Tuition, the peanut butter porter. It's named after my daughter Eve. She was born with dairy, egg, and tree nut allergies. So leaves not a whole lot in terms of snacking. And so what she would have a lot of is peanut butter toast, just like 4 pieces of peanut butter toast a day. And loved peanut butter every time she could get it. So I decided I was going to do a peanut butter-based beer. Did the first version. It was originally 5.5% alcohol and a little bit of peanut butter added to it. And great response. I called that Eve's future favorite because she's 3 now. She was 2 when I did it. And said, all right, well, if she could drink, this would be her favorite. So we did that and had a lot of great responses. But some folks were like, it needs more peanut butter and more alcohol. Okay, so I then doubled the peanut butter and increased the alcohol from 5.5 to 8.3, and called it Eve's tuition, so that slowly it'll get to pay for her tuition. And then I still had some folks that were saying, you know, it doesn't quite have enough peanut butter. Oh, and can you add some more alcohol? So for her 3rd birthday in December, I did a 12% version with double the peanut butter again, and then I also added chocolate. So it was a peanut butter chocolate robust porter at 12%.
Wow.
No one said there wasn't enough
awesome.
peanut butter.
Yeah. Okay, we're good now.
We're good.
As a peanut butter. That's great.
What's your favorite kind of beer to brew?
I gotta say, I love making stouts, but Scottish ales are my favorite. They're not necessarily a Scotch ale, although I make them, they're fantastic. I love Scottish ales because they are all the things that I love about a malty beer, without necessarily having so much alcohol that you can't drink a lot of it. It's an emphasis on session beers without being light and boring. Because I think there are too many people that focus on, if they're going to do a low alcohol beer, they're going to have it light. They're going to have as little things as possible. It's just meant as something to get you inevitably drunk.
Yeah.
A Scottish beer is completely the opposite. You're sitting between 2 and 4.5%, maybe 5%. You've got some nice flavors, some caramel roastiness, little but not overpowering like an Irish ale. You've got some hint of smokiness potential, and just a lot of great things that you can do with a beer while still keeping it really low alcohol. I think that's my favorite to brew and my favorite to drink. That is the chocolate coffee stout with vanilla.
That's the okay, and then this one is
The peanut butter.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
I thought this one was a stout, and this one was something else. I couldn't remember.
So yes, so with the chocolate coffee stout, it's kind of my blend, or my take on 3 different beer styles. You've got a nice, rich coffee stout with some nice whole beans added to the beer, with a little bit of lactose and vanilla added to it to soften it off. And the base stout itself is actually very light bodied. It's not going to be a heavy, full-bodied, soy saucy dessert stout. It's something that, while you've got a lot of flavor going on to it, it isn't a one-and-done situation. You can have 2, 3, 4 of them in a row. But still sitting at 6.66% alcohol, hence the name demonic.
Yeah.
It's just a really well balanced out, and then we did this on nitro, so it kind of creams it up and gives some nice, smooth, creamy head.
Say, what's your take on the whole nitro thing? 'Cause I know a lot of breweries are kind of not switching over, but they're making new beers with the whole nitro.
I love nitro beers. I think that they add a whole new dimension to beers, and I also think that it doesn't have to be a stout to be a tasty nitro beer. I'd say about the only style that I'm hesitant to put on nitro is an IPA, just because the nitro will kind of soften the intensity of the hops. And while something like a New England style, heady topper-ish IPA could definitely work in nitro, your more traditional, super dry, very bitter type IPAs, you're going to wreck the intention of the beer in the first place.
I guess not like quantifying, but like, how many different states have you been to going to breweries?
States? All of the Midwest, Colorado, Portland, Washington, and California.
You said you did brew festivals in Illinois. Have you done anything like out west?
I did Great American Beer Festival last year in Denver. That was really exciting. When you go as an attendee, it's nice because it's only 1 4-hour session. When you do it as a brewery, it's several in a row.
Yeah.
So by the end of it, you just want to go home and sleep.
Yeah.
But it's an amazing experience while you're there. You're able to go through, see all the different breweries that are out there, try what other people are coming out with, and to get a lot of exposure to different palates. I mean, what's interesting and what's being consumed in the Chicagoland area, not necessarily the same in Denver.
Is there anything coming up that you're doing?
Oh yeah, there's always something interesting. As far as events are concerned, actually, Saturday I'm pouring at Pints in Elmhurst. Memorial Day weekend we're going to be at Oswego's Beats and Eats, pouring some tasty beers there. We're getting this featured tapping. Okay. And then I think I've got 4 festivals in June throughout the area. I love doing beer festivals because it's an opportunity for me to talk about beer and to try and bring Cademon on the map a bit more. And I just love talking to people about beer, whether it's my beer or other people's beer.
Right.
Good conversation about beer is a highlight of my day.
Nice.
So
Very nice. All right.
We're actually gonna try to make
What's the one in
recipe.
Detroit? Oh, I thought you were talking
Oh.
about. I thought you were talking
I don't know
about.
what you're
I
talking
can't remember
about.
what the name of the beer festival is. It's coming up and it's in Detroit, and I just do not remember the name of it.
What's the one in
I wanted to go to it,
Madison
but
or Milwaukee?
Great Taste of the Midwest that we're talking
I
about.
want to go to that one.
Okay.
Yeah. That one sounds fun. But isn't it like a raffle system just to get
Pretty
a
much.
ticket and then a bunch of people buy up tickets and then they don't even go and they just sell them?
Oh, jeez.
Damn
Yes.
scalpers.
Yes.
I love that.
It's a little hard, both as the attendee and as the brewer.
I believe
there's
it.
a very long list. Once you're in, you're in.
Mhm.
It's getting in the first place as a
Yeah.
brewery before you can finally do it. So
Okay.
Gotcha.
I'm hoping one year to be able to start going to that.
So you guys are gonna have a can batch too, or you guys?
Yes.
Do you guys can as is, or?
We do not currently. We don't have the equipment for it. We only have bottling equipment, but we're working with Midwest Mobile Canning in order to start doing products. We're doing 16-ounce 4-packs of Tropical Kingpin, and then
Sweet.
probably Cascadian Crusher will be the one after that.
Cool. Very cool.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I'll have to try that. And what festivals are you going to? Or the I guess two of the four you said? Just any two of the four.
I've got Morton Arboretum's having a beer festival June 25th.
Ooh.
We'll be there.
Okay.
And then we also have Naperville Ale Fest, which is coming at the end of June, beginning of July.
Okay.
Those
I had no idea those didn't exist.
Yeah, neither
That's
did
why
I.
wanted to know
Other
about
good,
it.
yeah.
I like.
What I love about it is that there's basically from about April until September a beer festival, if not every weekend, every other weekend.
Okay.
So
definitely.
if you've got the Saturday for it, you can pretty much promote beer from that entire time frame in a different place. In fact, June 25th, we have 3 at the same time. The one Morton Arboretum, and then we've got one in Naperville and in Downers Grove all at the same time.
Okay.
So you get to be in 3 places at once. That's a fun place.
Right.
I guess opening up any I guess just issues overall. Like,
Yes.
Like what? Any fun?
Opening. Oh,
anything
absolutely.
exciting?
What? We have an unofficial saying at Cademon Brewing. Our official slogan is "Blending art and science from grain to glass."
Mm-hmm.
The unofficial slogan is why? Because it's Cademon fucking Brewing. Because
Okay.
everything that can go wrong goes wrong at the worst possible time. But we still are too dumb to stop doing what we're doing because we love making beer.
Yeah.
So at every step, I went through. It took, like I said, it took 3 years to open. Part of that was zoning. I actually in Sycamore helped rewrite all of the zoning laws to define what's a brewery versus a brew pub versus a tap room versus a bar, distinguishing all of that. Worked with the city. It was a fantastic experience.
Okay.
And then when we were supposed to be signing the lease for the building to open in Sycamore, someone paid cash to buy the building.
Ugh.
The week we were signing the lease.
Yeah.
So all of that went out the window. Then started looking, couldn't quite find the spot that fit us, and then the winery actually reached out to us saying, hey, we're moving out of our old facility. We used to make wine here, so it would be an easy place for you to start going. And that was great, but there's so many regulatory hurdles. No one wants you to talk to them until someone else has already been talked to. Like, that's the wrong order. So our federal licensing took about 100 days. At that time, the average was 60. And it was a nerve-wracking experience because of the fact that right before they approved us, they told us that we had to put up a 6-foot wall between the brewery and the taproom area. We could not have our walk-in cooler on the production side of the building. It had to be on the taproom side of the building.
Okay.
And a couple of other major problems. And we ended up going, okay, well, this is going to kill us dead in the water. So we reached out to someone to talk to them, and 24 hours later, they approved it with no changes.
Okay.
Cool.
So the bureaucracy is a little insane. Yes. And so there's just a lot of legislative and regulatory hurdles in the entire process that I think has helped make the craft beer industry so tight-knit because all of us have been through that process and the pains that are through it. And I view it as if someone's interested in opening up a brewery, I want to do anything that I can to decrease the amount of pain and to sidestep some potential problems that I had so they don't have to go through the same meat grinder that I did.
And if you ever need to open up a brewery, call this guy.
Yes, I will happily tell you all the things not to do. We learn a lot of processes about how to not open up a brewery. It's not that we failed, it's just we learned different ways to not do it.
He's telling me something about a bathroom.
Yes, so
what's that?
another fun regulatory issue was that as we were getting ready to open, we had to redo our bathrooms. This lovely thing was originally way too small, had a lot of problems, so we redid it, which of course required a full plumbing inspection. And in the process, we had to reposition the toilet in a new position. So we put that in place, and first inspection failed. It was too far away from the wall. So we then had to move the toilet in a little bit closer, and that was wrong, because apparently the phrasing was it had to be exactly this, but they wrote it down as must be at least X inches away. And the handle was on the wrong side, because it had to be pointed out in the room rather than towards the wall for ADA compliance. So we're like, all right, fine, we start ordering all the necessary things. It comes to the point where our replacement toilet's not here yet, and we're supposed to be soft opening December 1st. Call them open. I'm like, all right, well, we got the toilet in the right place, but the handle's on the wrong.
All right, so that was actually as far as we got with that interview, as far as the cameras working.
Yeah, the cameras just stopped recording, and we didn't realize that we had to switch settings around. So that's our fault for being rookies.
Andrew was great. That was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, it was great time. Great time. If you ever are in the Genoa area, which is West Illinois, Northwest Illinois, make a point to go out there. That peanut butter stout was one of the best beers I've ever had in my entire life. If you like peanut butter, you will love it. Yeah, try and make a stop down there. Cademon Brewery. Probably have the address down in the description.
We'll
just
link
for
it.
anybody who's there.
Yeah,
or who wants to go there. And
check out the website.
Check out the website. If you like our YouTube channel, share, subscribe. I'm Dylan.
I'm Nick.